What is happening, Cryptosomniacs? We are here for another episode of Trader Talk Live. I've got Crypto Love, we've got Snay, James, and Amal. Let's get cracking with it right after this. Stay tuned. All right, what is happening, everybody? We are live here on another fun Monday night. Let's talk crypto. Special guest Crypto Love, as we said. Thanks for coming on, Randall. Super great to have you here. Lots of fun hanging in Vegas this last weekend. We all survived. We're all still alive. That's always great. So it was cool to hang with you, and I appreciate you agreeing to come on for our fun little Trader Talk show here. Shout out to Dolphin Love. That is our first person in on the chat here. And looks like we got a few more people rolling in. Probably a good number of our people are aware of you, Randall, but just in case, you wanna give a little intro?
Yeah, so I got into crypto in the beginning of 2017. So my first year was like all up, which was pretty awesome. I was like, this just goes up and up. But I got into YouTube about August of 2017, right before the bull run started. I think it was a good time to get in. And I've been making videos pretty much over one a day. I've made like 600 videos in the past year and change. Wow. So I do that. Anything crypto related, reviews, interviews, how-to videos, pretty much anything out there, I'll do it. And I guess my history, I studied physics and philosophy in school, got a job doing a satellite program with NASA, didn't like it. Moved to France for a while, then went to vet school, was an emergency vet for a while, and then lucked into crypto. So that brings me here. I like to have fun. I like to tell people about crypto, talk about crypto, and that's it.
Yeah.
So why the unicorn?
Yeah, where did the branding come from, other than it's obviously super fun?
Yeah, so basically, when I first got into crypto, like, you know how Bitcoin's not physically tangible,
right?
But it was pretty awesome, and for me, it just kept getting better and better all the time. So when I had to make a YouTube banner, I got someone on Fiverr, and I was like, hey, make me a banner with a unicorn shooting rainbows and Bitcoins out of its butt, because to me, rainbows and unicorns were just as tangible as Bitcoins were.
I love it. That's awesome. We have a user comment saying your mic is a little quiet, Randall. I don't know if you can turn it up at all, but if
I can probably turn it up.
He says that's better. Okay, well, maybe it magically corrected itself, but
yeah, we'll try.
Right on. Perfect. All right. Shout out Icon. What's up, Jake the Red? What's happening, guys? Yeah. Well, on our show, what we normally do on this one is just set a few topics and then kind of have a conversation around it. So, we don't keep anything too formal around here. Just kind of chat back to if the participants in the audience have any comments or anything. But let's go specifically. I know, since you said you've been in the space since August of 17 or beginning of 17 and August of 17 professionally. With all the reviews and stuff that you've done, what do you think of the quality of the projects over the last year, just specifically speaking of 2018? Have you seen the quality of the projects that are coming out increase or decrease? What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a relief, because the projects are getting better and better now. I think when we had the bubble back December, January, February, that area, it was really, the projects were just terrible. People were just creating anything, just writing a white paper to make $30 million, get their 15% cut of that, and call it a day. And so we're not really seeing that anymore. A lot of projects nowadays are much more legitimate projects that have strong communities, that are aiming to do stuff that will actually help move the space forward. And we're seeing a lot of big people in cryptocurrency now who are really there they don't need the money. They're already billionaires, but they just want to help move the space forward, help create the next thing. So I think it is kind of a relief now to see a lot of these better projects out there.
Agreed. What about the rest of you guys? What do you think? I know, James, you're exposed to a bunch of stuff that a lot of us aren't seeing, being on the opposite side of the world. And then, Snay and I obviously are in the trenches, and Amal is doing a whole bunch of other fundamental research. So what do you think? What have you noticed, Amal? Have you noticed that the back end? Have you noticed the people are more robust? And what about you, James, down on your side of the world? Do you think what are the quality of the projects looking like? Is there anything looking super innovative out there?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I'm seeing a lot of STOs come out, and that's definitely attractive for the traditional investors. And equities and dividends are a beautiful thing, really. So, yeah, I'm definitely seeing a change in quality, and investors are just getting stricter, and they want to see certain things happen. They want, quite several reassurances. Even market making is becoming a bit of a prerequisite, so they have some kind of security in their investment. So, yeah, it's not like it used to be. There is still a ton of projects coming out, and they're all, I'm getting requests to be advisors for projects almost daily, and most of them are just not worth your time, really. But there's definitely some really good ones out there, and we're seeing the evolution, and that's a good thing.
So what's the hyped up STO right now?
Just overall, you think, or are you speaking specifically to James?
Yeah, to James. What are you looking at right now that is really piquing your attention? Don't say Monarch, because Monarch, right? Because there's a conflict.
I already, the last show I already did the cold Monarch shilling, so we have to.
Okay.
Well, that's definitely looking at being the best wallet, supporting tokens no one else supports. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on that. There's one in Australia, Concrete, that they're tokenizing real estate, and they have some good partnerships with real estate people, and so yeah, they're looking to have tokenized properties, so that's looking good. But I would just got to see what comes out. Everyone's kind of waiting in the mist for the SEC. You have some kind of jurisdictional freedom with Gibraltar and some exchanges in certain areas of the world, but people are waiting for the SEC to hand down some regulations, and then you'll see a lot of security exchanges pop up, and the STOs start coming out. So people are like, well, should I not? Where are we going to have liquidity? That's the problem. So, but you're seeing dual token models where you get some liquidity with the utility, and then the STO liquidity will come later. But if the company's making money, you're going to get dividends in the meantime. So
that being said, we have, like, in the conference circuit, which, we all go to crypto conferences, and so we've seen hundreds of the same projects over and over again. Real estate on the blockchain. How do you tell when it's not shit and it is shit? Because
that's a great question. There are so many
literally in Vegas, there were 6 companies that were doing real estate on the blockchain. 6 companies with 6 different STOs. And you can't rely on partnerships. Look at Tron. Tron's partnered with everybody, So like, what's the metric here? Like, how do you pinpoint someone? Hey, this is going to be successful with actually doing something without actually being on the team. Without actually having boots on the ground. How do you actually determine that metric? Hey, this is worth investing in.
Yeah.
You need
everybody here. Yeah.
You need something tangible. You need some kind of partnership where they're actually putting properties into the fund that can be divided and tokenized, and something tangible, not simply just the idea. You need something, that's for sure.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Real estate on the blockchain.
Dr. Ed says location.
Classic.
So we've got a question from Putsky saying, "Hey guys, what are your thoughts on Pundy's blockchain phone?" And then Crypto Terp followed it up with Pundy's phone, Siren's phone, HTC's phone. So, what do you guys think on that? I think the Siren phone, being fully encrypted end to end is a pretty impressive thing. I don't know about the other stuff. I didn't realize Pundy had a phone. I thought it was just a point of sale system. So I was under the impression that it would be more like a Square or something like that. Am I mistaken there?
I've only heard of the point of sale thing. I haven't been watching the news for like the past week, so maybe something came up, but I only heard about the point of sale thing.
Yeah.
And while a lot of people like Pundy because it has the point of sale unit, but at least in the United States, every store already has a Verifone point of sale unit. Why are they going to go spend, even though it's cheap, why are they going to spend $200 for every one of those things?
Nailed it.
When they could go ahead and use some type of other wallet like Monarch.
But that was exactly
Monarch show. No, I'm kidding. But Yeah, so like, why are they going to spend that money when really what benefit does it give them? They're going to say, oh, you can accept crypto, and they'll be like, why would I want to do that? You know, and then they're like, well, do you have a phone? You can just accept it now. Download the Monarch wallet. Boom, done.
So you could even send end-to-end encrypted chat on Telegram. You know, there's a little lock button on top. That's end-to-end encryption. You know, it doesn't go through their servers whatsoever. It goes directly to.
How does that work? Because it's still got to be sent over the cellular network. It's just sent in an encrypted format.
Right. It's sent in an encrypted format. Basically, how it works here: private keys, public keys. Right.
Yeah,
hey, the usernames are public keys, and the private keys are built in the background. That's what people don't understand. Blockchain technology is around us all the time. You know, there's private keys, public keys. Well, not blockchain, but there's encrypted, exactly. There's encrypted technology out there already that doesn't really require blockchain. You know, if you had to send a message on the Bitcoin blockchain, you know, that's like some pigeon mail type shit. You know, like hey, can you come over and then wait 10 minutes and be like, no, you know, and then you can't have a 10-minute transaction time. So blockchain honestly isn't beneficial for every single service or industry, like messaging.
It's not. But I think that's kind of why the implementation of Lightning Network is coming about, right? Did you guys see that one guy? What do you do? He like unlocked a bicycle, like a rented bicycle, with his Bitcoin. Have you all seen that video?
Yeah, it was on our cryptocurrency. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. Like, I mean, I think there's going to be a necessity for layering within the blockchain itself. So being able to segment transactions in terms of like their importance, right? Not saying that this is like some net neutrality, shit like that, but you're going to have to discern between paying for a pizza and then making international remittances, right? Like, there's going to be obviously a differentiation that you have to, keep in mind. So,
I mean, that's a good point. But things like Lightning Network and a lot of these sidechain solutions, and I hate using this word, but trustless, where you don't have to trust anybody. The transaction goes through. Right. While Lightning Network nodes and a lot of these sidechain network nodes, they still require block signers. EOS requires 20 different block signers. Tron requires block signers. So therefore, they're inherently trusted systems, right? They're not like Ethereum or traditionally Bitcoin, where it's quote unquote trustless.
Sure.
I think that with Lightning Network, though, you just stake some of your coins up there. You basically just do that, and then you're part of the Lightning Network.
Yeah, right. It's like locking it in an account. It's basically like putting it in a bank account that you and one other person are able to transact between.
Right. But the problem here that resides is if, say, for example, on Monarch, we start hosting a Lightning node, a Lightning Network node, right? Me at Monarch, I could go in fraudulently because what you're doing right now is you would be sending a transaction using my node, and I could fraudulently do something on my node, and it would screw you over. So therefore, it's still a trusted system. If you're running your own Lightning Network node, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Hey, you're not going to screw yourself over. That makes no sense.
Right. But
if you're relying on other people to run a node for you, a network node for you, it's inherently trusted, right? So therefore, you have to trust that party, right? You would have to trust Monarch or Ledger or whatever node that they would be running, right?
That's why there's more than one node, though, because you got to expect that like all the people aren't going to be wrong. I'm sure you heard about a month or two ago they found a bug in the Bitcoin network that had been there for like 10 months or 14 months that could have taken down the whole network.
Oh yeah, I'm reading about that.
But once they found out about it, the people didn't exploit it; they actually fixed it, and so. You gotta at least, I mean, most people, I would think, try and be good people. And I think especially with a lot of cryptocurrency, most people want to move forward as opposed to those who want to move backwards. So you can't expect that every node out there will be a terrible one. Yeah, sure, there will be bad actors, but eventually their nodes will stop being used.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. But, that's like a double-edged sword there. How do you tell the community, hey, use my node, yet you still have a point of attack, right? Everyone's corruptible. That's what I think. With enough money going through, everyone is corruptible.
But I'm not a Lightning expert, but I don't think you really get to choose what nodes it goes through. I think they just find whatever connection is fastest and easiest and has the funds available to run that transaction through there.
So if it's anything like Ethereum or anything like traditional blockchain nodes, what happens is, for example, like my Ether wallet, you have to run a full node. That means you have to download the entire Ethereum blockchain, right? So when you're doing that, all you're doing on my Ether wallet is you're saying, hey, I'm going to send to this node, and this node is going to broadcast to the network, right? But that means you're trusting Mu to essentially not broadcast fraudulent transactions on your behalf, right? Well, you own your own private keys on Mu. That being said, on Bitcoin, on Mu, you can still scrape a lot of information from there. So, you can't expect everyone to say, hey, go ahead and download, what is it, 1.2 terabytes right now, the Ethereum blockchain?
Yeah.
You don't have enough room on your laptop for that to spare?
Yeah, you don't have 1.2 terabytes to do any sort of transaction, right? To play CryptoKitties, you don't have 1.2 terabytes?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how this space is going to evolve to match and counter all this trustless issue.
I still think it's super early on. I mean, we just saw the 10-year anniversary of the Bitcoin white paper on Halloween.
Yep.
And, we don't even have, we don't even have very good wallets out there. I mean, they're in the works, definitely. But, the Bitcoin's simple premise is a peer-to-peer decentralized currency. And there's really no good solutions to where people can go and just, take fiat, put it in there, and then send it to someone else. I mean, they're in the works. I'm not going to say which ones. But anyways, the other thing is, that being said, second layer solutions, third layer solutions, who knows? There could be so many different solutions out there. But
yeah, honestly, I don't think there's a single product out there that's business ready, that's enterprise ready for the mass public.
You don't think like Nano or something like that? I'm talking just specifically for like micropayments. I only give it Nano because I've just seen how quickly it works.
Just based on infrastructure, if you look at, for example, the Starbucks app, how simple, how easy, how quickly you're able to do anything on the Starbucks app. And then, hey, it identifies the user, identifies your gift card, it identifies how much money you want to send. It identifies the reward points that you'll be getting. There's nothing quite as complex that's actually usable in the space right now. And everyone's in the works, but I agree. We are super, super early into the space.
And then it's going to cost millions to market something like that for mass adoption, but it's going to come.
Yeah, hopefully it'll come.
It's coming. Definitely.
Just the exposure as people become more familiar with it, really. I mean, just honestly, like what we're doing here is just hopefully this gets out and starts getting the earworms into more people to where they just become less afraid of it and understand what it is. It's not just, oh, I buy it and then it's worth more money. No, what you buy it and then you transact with it without having to worry about a trusted third party. And hopefully it's worth more money, but that's not the main reason that this whole technology interests me. So with that, what do you guys, when you're looking to get involved in a project, what do you look for specifically? I mean, obviously technology, team, but are there any particular types of coins that you like?
What is your magic sauce? Yeah.
What's
market making?
Yeah, man.
I want some security.
I think this kind of ties back to the first question that Jason asked is, what exactly, well, I guess the way to look at this is, what exactly are we in this space for? Are you in it for the money? Do you want to trade and, make a decent amount of money here and there? Or are you really in it for the long term, right? It's like that whole meme about that Indian guy who's like, I'm in it for the technology, and he's got fucking like gold all over him, and I think 98% of people in the space are really bullshitting themselves in terms of believing in the technology. And these are the same 98 people, who will make sure that 98% of the projects will disappear because these projects are going to get wrecked, right? The people who already wanted to make money, they already made money. They're gone on a fucking island somewhere. You're never going to find them, right? And this is the same thing. Like Toon Vase even talks about some of these coins, you know, 2014 and 15. They used to be like number 2, number 3 market cap. Now they're like fucking 1,000 or, you know, 1,500. That's going to definitely happen with like pretty much the entire space. And there's going to be very few projects that are going to, you know, stay alive. And it's going to be like the internet bubble, you know, same thing, except, I mean, obviously we're not at the end of the bubble yet, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't see how a project like OMG or Neo with very little development and very little support goes on in the future, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they come out of the gates. They come out of the gates like gangbusters, especially during 2017, where everybody's just throwing money at anything. Oh, there's an Ethereum. This is the Chinese Ethereum. Throw money at it. You know, and like, oh, it's the Korean Ethereum. Throw money at it. And it's just, it's that thing that I start going like, if it's the Chinese version of something or the Korean version or I don't care where it's from. If it's the blank version of something that already exists, shouldn't we be just getting more involved in the one that already exists? Or why bother to look into, you know, how many different platforms, how many people do we need to build roads? We need people to build cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. In it for the technology.
Right.
You know, like, no, it's bullshit, man. I mean, you know, a lot of these people just, they're in the space for the wrong reason. Now they're pissed off at why they're losing money. Well, like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, you came in at the wrong time. You know, you just got owned by the people who actually know how to run the space in terms of taking money from the market.
Yep.
Yeah, and the James's original comment, you know, when we asked that question, what is the magic sauce? I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. Market makers. I don't think basically anybody is aware of what market makers actually do. It's honestly, you go to a crypto conference and you say, hey, do you know what a market maker is? And do you know how much of a price impact it puts on all the other little shit coins that you own on Binance?
Yeah.
They have no idea. They have no idea what market makers actually do. And so explain to me what market makers actually do and how it impacts price and why it creates fake volume.
I mean, James, you want to take this or you want me to start?
No, go for it.
I mean, the best way to look at market makers is like, you know, so take, for example, AOL back in the day, right? You know, I remember a specific moment when AOL stock was tanking. And I actually now, you know, one of my realtors, his cousin, he was actually a market maker for AOL. And so their job is to essentially like hold up the price to make sure that, you know, if the price is tanking, bring it back to equilibrium to some degree where it's acceptable by shareholders or people who actually own sizable amounts of the stock don't start dumping with it. So they're basically bringing the market back, you know, to where it should be. That's kind of how I see the market makers, at least in the stock market. I didn't really know that there were so many market makers in the crypto space till I heard James talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, it's flooded really. There's a lot of them are just basic, you know, 600-line scripts that wash trade back and forth. It's nothing special. It's, you know, it looks good for the project, but it's not good for investors technically. But a lot of them, let's first say that market making, it's not shady or illegal, or some of the wash trading will, you know, that won't be around
I was going
in
to
the
say
future.
wash trading is
when you say market making, people think it's something taboo, but it's part of traditional markets and it always has been. And like Amol just stated, it's just a normal part of the industry. Once a lot of these projects this year, they didn't have treasury management, so they were holding their Ethereum. It started dumping. They pretty much turned off their market makers. They weren't funding it. It was too much to, you know, they had to spend Ethereum to pump the price up and keep it at a level. So they turned them off, save money, and then natural market forces took over, and a lot of them, you've seen where they are now.
Exactly.
Market making, you're just keeping that spread tight and keeping volume in the books, and you have something to buy and sell into, and it just simply keeps a lot of the coins alive. And a lot of investors are looking for that as well. So if they don't have adequate market making. So there's some sophisticated ones out there now. We work with one that's damn exciting and very impressive. And yeah, it's really good to see some sophisticated ones in crypto.
Right, and just like some of the market makers that I'm familiar with that have been pitched to me, you know, like for example, order book manipulation. So if someone is selling a token, or if someone's buying a token for 10 cents and someone's selling it for $1, right? They'll try to bring that spread as close as they can. Oh, we lost them all. Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, if someone's buying for 10 cents and someone's selling for $1, they try to essentially bring that spread. That's a 90-cent spread, right? That's a huge spread for such a low or a cheap, not cheap, but a small price crypto, right? So they try to shrink it down where they try to bring the buyers and sellers, and they manipulate the order book where now it actually looks like, you know, there's actually buyers and sellers always pulling and tugging, pushing and tugging, right? So, and the market makers make a killing off of this, right? They make a killing off of this because now as a consumer, when I want to go in and buy that shitcoin I have my eye on, you know, now I can find, or sorry, I shouldn't say shitcoin, that altcoin that I have my eye on, I can find, there's finally liquidity in there, and finally I could go out and buy a price that meets the spread, right?
Yep.
Right dab in the middle.
Yeah.
Well,
I do like now, sorry to interrupt you, James, I do like now how the operative term for altcoin is shitcoin.
It's a synonym, right?
yeah, so the projects are dedicating a certain amount of money for market making, and so when investors want some liquidity, it's there. It's, you know, it's helpful for everybody, really.
And I don't want to name any names or anything like that, but there's some exchanges that do market making internally for you, and they benefit off that. And second of all, I've been approached by a couple of companies, Binance, Bittrex, you know, not those companies, but they're market makers that do. They have the scripts for those exchanges. They charge upwards of $80,000 a month. So you have to understand how lucrative of an opportunity this is, even for a small cryptocurrency. The volume is completely fake. All these volumes are completely fake. I mean, internally, just within the exchange is probably where it's mostly happening. But if you're seeing, like, for example, a sub top 100 coin, you know, 100 to 200 coin with $10-15 million of volume, none of that is actually withdrawals and deposit. It's all just within its own exchange, right?
Little orders
so
that are
like I would say 95%. That's how drastic of a number is how fake this volume is. So when you go into CoinMarketCap and you're saying, hey, we have a $25 billion 24-hour volume with all the cryptocurrencies, you have to just double check your instinct and be like, do you really think there's $25 billion being transacted across these exchanges? No, it's just a bunch of bots, you know, just trading back and forth.
Yeah, half of it's just bullshit. Right. It's wash trading.
And the exchanges love it too, because at the end of the day, they collect that sweet transaction fee.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
volume looks good.
Yeah, exchanges are like, you know, I mean, they're renowned to counter trade retailers. Like, I mean, if I was an exchange and I was Arthur Hayes, I would do the same fucking thing. You know, I would look at all these people who are opening up, you know, 20x, 50x, 100x leverages, and be like, yeah, I'm going to counter trade the shit out of you, you know, like, because they don't know anything what they're doing, right? So of course I'm going to, like, you know, pin my trades against yours. So.
And that being said, if I put in $1 billion right now, I don't have $1 billion, but if I put in $1 billion into Bitcoin right now, you know, you would expect, hey, the market cap's going to go up by $1 billion, right? No, the market cap's going to go up by $50 to $100 billion. There is injection of new capital in the markets, but nothing like you're expecting. You know, you're seeing all this. Hey, the market cap's going up by $20 billion. No, the market cap was never gone up by $20 billion, right? It's these tether scams and all these market makers inflating all these prices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially, like, for example, if I have a security token and I sell to Americans, I was approached by a Chinese exchange that I won't name, or not Chinese. I'll say an Asian exchange that I won't name.
Too late. Cat's out of the bag now.
No, so I'm saying, hey, most of our investors, most of our STO investors are in America. And they're like, oh, wow, that's great. What we could do is, give us a few percent of your token, your security or your utility token, and we'll put it in a Chinese exchange. That way, we can inflate the price, and somehow it'll reflect the price on CoinMarketCap and in America. And it's just crazy things going on about inflating different prices that nothing really is usable. Nothing really is usable right now with inherent value, except a few projects. I think I saw this on a subreddit on the GVT just launched. I'm not going to shill GVT, but I troll their subreddit all the time. But they said on the top 100, there's only 25 top 100 coins that actually have a live active product right now. And unfortunately, it's a lot of these casino gambling and gaming products. The ones that we're like, or like the loaning services, do we really need this right now? Like, isn't there something for an endpoint consumer to use? But that's what it is. It's just a lot of these gambling. And
yeah, I was gonna say, like, effectively, a lending service right now isn't that effectively just a way to bankroll your gambling anyway, right? Because you're either borrowing. What are you borrowing ETH for, dude? What are you borrowing ETH for? To invest in an ICO?
No. You're loaning ETH. So if you loan ETH, if you loan out your
who's
ETH,
borrowing it?
Someone. So what they're doing is they're leveraging your Ethereum, and they are you gain interest on it, right? So if I put in 1 ETH, I'll get 1.04 ETH back at the end of the year, right? But I mean, if you're just sitting on your, if you're a hodler, you should be loaning out your cryptocurrencies, honestly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's what, I mean, I spoke with Alex Mashinsky from Celsius, and he was talking to me about it. A bunch of light bulbs went off because it's basically a lot of wealthy individuals. They don't actually sell their assets in order to purchase new things. They just borrow against their assets, and then they can buy that, multi-million-dollar yacht or whatever. Right. Same thing you can do with your cryptocurrency. Instead of actually cashing it in because you need money, you just loan it out. And right now, I mean, the rates on there are pretty crazy. And actually, loaning them fiat, if you loan them US dollars, you can get 7% interest on that, which blows my mind because you loan your bank US dollars and you get like 0.1% interest.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you loan out fiat or against Ethereum, so if you're loaning out Ethereum right now and it's $200 and you're just loaning out your Ethereum, and Ethereum goes to $1,000, you're still going to retain all those gains, right? Right. But if you're loaning out crypto against fiat, then if Ethereum jumps up to $1,000 again, you're not going to see those gains. If that makes sense, that makes sense, right? Crypto Love, is that what happens?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say there's a very, very strong chance that the price of cryptocurrency is going up as opposed to US dollar, which goes down in buying power every year.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
All right. We all
not financial advice.
Not financial advice, not your financial advisors. Don't worry, I had the disclaimer at the beginning, but just in case anybody is starting to forget. All right, so let's see. Here's a good question. Heather Starbucks says, any idea what the taxation laws are with loaning? So if I'm making 6% on it, am I making that as capital gains or because I'm making it on Ethereum? Or sorry, I guess I messed it up. You said 6% on just fiat. But I was thinking, so I was looking at, I'm going to be talking to a guy from Compound later this week, which is, I think, kind of similar to what Celsius does. And, that's what I wanted to ask him. But anyways, I was looking at there, and I think they do have rates at about 6% to loan out your crypto or something like that.
Well, the actual profits will be taxed. So whatever the costs are versus the profits. So
is it a capital gains tax or what kind of damage am I looking at to my bottom line?
It depends when you get the profit. So it needs to be, if it's over a year, then it's capital gains. I don't know how it gets locked into the lending program. If you lock it in for over a year and then take it out, and then it's capital gains tax. If you take it out before then, it's going to be normal tax rate.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I assume anyway. Every country is different to an extent.
Yeah, that's true.
Good point.
So I've had
So at
two
least
people
it's-
make.
at least
I've had
it's-
two people ask.
What do the interest rates in Australia look like?
Pretty high. Similar to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at Japan, it's virtually nothing, right?
Well, they have
Those-
no economic growth because they have no population growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're sort of stagnating. That's I was talking with a forex guy about this, and he was saying like the Japanese yen has been historically a really good thing to hedge your more volatile forex trades on because it's so stagnant. It doesn't really move much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, people look to the yen as, you know, something solid to put their money in when the stock market and other parts of the world economies aren't doing so well. U.S. dollar, yen, Great Britain pound, you know, and euro, obviously.
Yeah. As long as they don't have an earthquake.
I know, right?
I just had a comment that somebody says I still want to be in Vegas. I don't want to ever go to Vegas again. I almost died, so I'm good.
You know,
Vegas
I
for
felt
more than
like
3 days is like eat bullets, but yeah.
No, I felt like I created a Horcrux in Vegas and left it there. So part of my soul is just still in Vegas. You know, I died a little bit, you know, drinking so much. And cigars.
We've had a couple of people asking about, they said, so what's up with XRP? And then how many of you hold XRP? I'm pretty willing to bet we could divide this screen into, like, yay? I don't know. I'm going to go with no XRP. Show of hands, no
I hold XRP.
Yeah.
I hold XRP. Yeah. You guys hold XRP?
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah. I agree.
Trading
I have
it out,
nothing
but I'm not
against
going to
it.
hold it. I'm not going to hold it.
I don't
Well,
have any,
that's the thing about, what we were talking about before. Are you in it for the long term or are you in it for the money? You know, there's.
exactly.
Well, I'm not
Yeah,
trying
I'll
to
let
give
you
them my
take
Bitcoin. So
You know, the thing is, like, I feel like you're going to kill off potential opportunities for making money if you marry the fundamentals with the wrong project. XRP is not a project where you marry, you know, for the fundamentals. It's one where you know, have a good smash, get in and get out. That's it.
Dirty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vegas 2.0 in this conference right now. No, but no, I completely agree. That's why I hold XRP. I think that's it's 4 banks by banks. Actually, Ripple is 4 banks by banks. XRP, the token, I don't think really has a use case right now. I think it's all speculation. Is that correct?
It's so no. I got served on this because I said there had no use case. It does have a use case. It's just kind of a pointless one in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. XRapid. They do use it for XRapid, but it's just to buy Ripple, move money here, sell Ripple. So why would you stockpile Ripple in that case and be exposed to the volatility of Ripple when you could just buy it, move the money, and sell it? That doesn't give.
Well, in that logic, if the volume is so incredibly high, then the Ripple is being used, the Ripple platform or XRP, whatever the hell you want to call it, is being used more and more and more over the years, then XRP should be worth more and more and more.
Yeah.
Right?
Except they're going to keep printing more and more and more.
No. They're not printing more and more. So they have a max cap at 100 billion. They have 40 billion in circulation. They're holding on to 60 billion.
So the fees on transaction, I guess it would be like they'll have divisions to keep it always at the same price for a certain transaction fee.
Right. And so, for example, if what they do is they reach out to a new bank says, hey, we'd like to use Ripple. So what they would do is say, hey, okay, here's 20 billion Ripple for absolutely free, or XRP, absolutely free. This is to use for your interbank ledgers, right? And so on the other end of that spectrum is saying, hey, now these users are getting exposure to Ripple, and now these users can send user to user from their own banks using Ripple, but they would have to, right now, if you download Monarch, this is not a shill, and you open up Ripple and it says, hey, you want to start a Ripple address, you have to send 25 Ripple to that, and then it gets deleted, right? So to enable a Ripple wallet, you have to essentially spend 25 Ripple, right? And that's how it is for every single exchange. You have to enable that wallet. You have to send 25 Ripple to that wallet, and that's exactly the same thing with Stellar as well.
Yep.
So and Ripple, you're actually saying, hey, I want to use this address. I want to reserve this address. Here's some Ripple, and then they delete it, right?
Yeah. I mean, Ripple does a few things that work. So your question asked earlier about like what's the golden sauce for cryptocurrencies. There's a bunch of different things, but marketing is really important. Community is very important. Ripple has both of those. I mean, they do a phenomenal job marketing. They have a very, very deep community who, I mean, I talk shit on Ripple all the time, and I get people just trolling my comments because they love Ripple. And I don't mind it, but like, it's just, but because of that, you know, chances are they might do pretty well. Also, they do have partnerships with banks, even though the banks aren't technically really using it. But like big banks like PNC and Santander and UBS. Also, there's this petition for the official currency Olympics in 2020. I mean, if they make that stuff happen, that's the type of marketing stuff that could make a worthless project blow up.
Yep.
I mean, they have the foot in the door, right? That's all it takes is they have a foot in the door. They're talking to banks. They're developing these relationships for the impending future, and that's what we can hope for.
See, the interesting thing is, right? There's people like us on YouTube right now, right? Then there's very few other people left from the beginning of the year, right? Those who got in at the top.
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty much gone, right? They pretty much gave up on this market, or they're fucking, depressed, right? They are not the ones.
Some of us may be depressed too.
Yeah. They're not the ones who are waiting around for the next bull run, or waiting for Ripple to go to all-time highs again, right? What's going to happen is the new wave, the new entrants into the market are not going to know what the hell XRP is about. And they're going to see, oh shit, XRP has all these partnerships and is blown up. And, what Crypto Love talked about, the 2020, making the current new currency or whatever. Those are the people who are going to get baited, and they're going to buy Ripple, by the dozens. That's exactly, I mean, the entire crypto space as a whole, for the most part, is a hype game, right? Where's the hype today? It could be Bitcoin today, but for the new person tomorrow, it could very well be Ripple.
And it's cheap.
It's very cheap. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. They're just I can own 100,000 of these. Holy shit, that's awesome.
But people just don't like it because of Satoshi's vision, and he must be rolling in his virtual grave seeing these derivative products come out.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Like that, I've seen a number of. So I did sit in on one panel at the World CryptoCon specifically that was full of a bunch of crypto hedge funds basically, and every single one of them was so gassed up on selling bullshit derivative products. You can obviously tell my stance on what these things are. But you know what I mean? Like, is that good for the space at all, right? Are custodial solutions good for the space? Are these derivative products where I can go buy a great big package of shit coins so that the bottom can fall out from underneath them and I can lose my investment when I should have just bought Bitcoin and held on to my own private keys? That's the other thing is they're buying this whole pack of stuff, but they have no actual exposure to the funds, just the risk of they're not holding the crypto.
I could make that same argument for futures. When Bitcoin futures came out, like, hey, you're not actually trading the underlying asset. Like, is this good for the space?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. It is good for the space. I think as much shit as you could throw at Bitcoin and all these crappy, shitty derivative products, all these little buckets, with Coinbase's buckets that they launched and deleted after 2 months. All these products are good for Bitcoin because as much shit as you could throw at Bitcoin, the better, because it only gets harder and harder and harder. Right.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I kind of look at it a little bit differently, right? Derivatives and other forms of instruments for investing are important if you want to garner the attention of institutional investors. I think it's necessary if you actually want the attention of the smart money.
Yeah, it's just Bitcoin's not accessible enough. You need some kind of exposure without having to hold the underlying asset. It just makes sense, and it's just
or is that the problem? That's what I'm saying. Is like everybody keeps talking about this. Like, yeah, I can hedge my risks and did it. Like, you then stay in then stay in fiat markets, right? This already exists. If you want this.
That's go ahead.
I also think. I mean, I think that everybody wants their cryptocurrencies, their Bitcoin to be worth more. All right,
Yeah.
and the big things they say, mass adoption and like ETFs, derivatives, products, futures, all that type of stuff, because they think that's going to get the most money for them the quickest possible.
Sure.
But there's some financial law, starts with G, I forget the name of it, but basically bad money flows to good money. And we see this happening over and over again in places like Venezuela and Turkey and I don't know, wherever else. But basically, when money's become less worthwhile, when the value goes down, people go into something that holds its value, something like Bitcoin. And I think it's just a little bit of impatience. Like, all these products will probably help as much as we think they're going to help. Who knows? But I think, if you give Bitcoin long enough, it'll just take over the rest of it, because it is an open protocol that no one can really stop. I mean, it is kind of a steamroller, and people just can't stop it.
Yeah, I think some of these derivatives are going to get quite toxic, though. What Goldman Sachs are going to do an NDF, a non-deliverable forward, which is it's just a futures contract when nothing is delivered. So that's quite basic. And Morgan Stanley are looking at doing like a price return swap or total return swap. I'm not sure how it's going to be structured, but it's going to be based on CBO and CBOE and CME futures contracts. So it's a derivative of a derivative. So this is what's going to happen. So, but with that one, you can, so let's say you lease one Bitcoin to somebody, they pay a fee. So you're locking in future returns through like a basis point spread. If the price appreciates, then so if you lease the coin, say one Bitcoin, and the price goes up, you get paid that appreciation. But if it goes down, you have to pay the lessor that depreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's they're just hedging their Bitcoin for future gains through basis point spread and like an interest rate. So,
so everyone's heard of GBTC, right? That investment trust on the OTC markets. So how does that differ from the ETFs that will come out? Because they're actually not liable for actually holding the underlying asset. Is that correct? GBTC doesn't have to hold the underlying asset.
I thought they did, but I may be mistaken then.
So why all the hype about ETFs? Just because it's a way to get exposure into Bitcoin without actually owning Bitcoin? Is that pretty much the whole hype behind ETFs?
Yeah, the hype about ETFs is people want a $50,000 Bitcoin. Nobody was talking ETFs before. What's his face from BitMEX said that we'll have a $50,000 Bitcoin is likely. Once he said that, then everybody started talking ETFs, because guess what? People want their Bitcoin to be worth $50,000. I don't think they really care. Most people don't care if their parents or grandparents can buy Bitcoin in some type of mutual fund type of thing, but
they care about ETFs because it allows people not savvy in crypto and blockchain speak to invest in Bitcoin without actually knowing how to do any of that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes back to gold.
Is that good? Shouldn't
but
we be
I think it's
them?
Also like that Indian meme dude where he's wearing the gold chains. Like everybody. Yeah, I want everybody to participate in cryptocurrency. Totally. I think it would be awesome for all of them to be into it. But really, maybe it comes from more selfish things, like if I had a whole gold necklace and all that stuff.
You know that dude was shot in a parking lot?
That guy?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's dead, dude. Yeah. That meme is dead, literally dead.
Well,
yeah.
hey, here's a good idea. Don't wear that much gold around unless you're missing.
Dude, yeah.
So who holds physical gold? It's the same kind of thing. Traditional investors just want that exposure, or to be able to hedge what they have without holding that asset. It's just simpler. You don't want to have to go through all the troubles of exchange fees and storage and security and risk of hacking. And you alleviate all of that risk for a fee.
So,
right now, if I die right now, my Bitcoin essentially is poof. It goes nowhere. Right? It's done. Well, unfortunately, I gave my sister the treasure map to my private keys. But still, at the end of the day, like, who are you going to trust it with? A lawyer? You're going to trust your lawyer with private keys in your will? I don't know about all that. It's.
I did see a new solution. I don't know if you guys saw those chaos cards that they have, where basically you can take like a deck of 52 cards, shuffle them up using some type of algorithm on the cards, and then you can basically scramble your private key in there, and you can have a key that'll tell them like the kind of the one secret part you might need to know to kind of get started. You can give that to your lawyer, give the deck to someone else, and then that way, you could give you would keep the deck because that has your private stuff, but that way the lawyer doesn't have access to the actual private keys. He just has the missing link, so when the person gets your deck of private keys, he can give them that so they can get the money.
Great. Now my sister and my lawyer are going to call a hitman and kill me.
They're going to put a bet out on the auger prediction markets that Snay won't make it till next year.
And all these things that you're saying are more reason for derivatives. It's just complicated.
True. The space is complicated, and I don't think my dad wants to worry about private keys or worry about Coinbase access or any of that shit. He just wants to put it in his Fidelity 401k or IRA, and then and that's that. That's it. He just wants a little exposure, and that's it.
Well, that's why you need custodial services, though, right? I mean, you can't go through Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or any of these big FDIC insured, quote unquote, like services and not have custodial services, right? Because you can't put everyone's money on the line and some idiot hacker just like hacks your fucking, private keys, and then everyone's screwed, right? That's just not going to work. That's not going to fly with like, thousands of retail investors.
That's why I don't want private keys anyway.
Custody is massive. But most of the Bitcoin is transacted OTC anyway, and custodial solutions are key for that.
Yeah, of course. Custodial solutions are also, the one thing that's going to help make this space something great, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So we've got Amit, longtime watcher. What's up, Amit? Saying when Bitcoin went from 3K to 20K, there was no ETF. Why do people think we need an ETF K from 6K to 20K?
Okay, first of all, that's not true, man. Like, the ETFs have been around. The Winklevoss twins have been talking about their ETFs since like 2014 or 15. So I don't know.
I think
and also the last bull run was because of the futures contracts.
Sorry?
The last bull run was partly due to the futures contracts.
Yeah, that's definitely a theory that we've speculated about too. Is like, you want to mark up Bitcoin so much so that once it gets pumped up all the way, then you just start shorting the shit out of it with, also with futures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's instant money as well. Whereas the ETFs, it's not like you're suddenly going to have all this new money coming in or some great product that suddenly it's going to you're going to profit off quickly. It's just not like that. It's going to be a catalyst. Like, I hope we find a bottom that we reverse from, and then the ETFs come out, and that's the catalyst to help push us up. Because it's not going to be a catalyst by itself.
Yeah.
It'd probably be something like that consensus. What was that in April in New York, where the price pushed up? People thought consensus was going to start the bull run.
Yeah,
it was all artificial, and that started from that short squeeze as well. And usually stuff like that gets fully corrected, and it did.
Yeah. It did. Kind of like swell by Ripple in October when it went up to 80 cents or something like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Or how about Bitcoin Cash being literally manufactured out of thin air, and then everyone selling their Bitcoin Cash, pumping up Bitcoin again? Or how about all the tether scams?
That's happening right now. Bitcoin Cash pump, like I made like 20 some odd % over a bag that I was holding for my crypto hopper trade over the weekend because it was bag holding and it pumped so hard because there's a fork of Bitcoin Cash coming out, so people are buying it up so they can get the fork of bullshit cash.
It's cash. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
This space needs some janitor, honestly.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's Consuelo with a lemon spray, honestly.
Wow, man.
All right. Well, let's see. So here's another fun one. ZRX already on Coinbase. BAT officially just listed. What do we want to speculate on getting listed next, boys? Purely speculation. I should throw in that you're all speculating.
Stellar, for sure.
You think Stellar next, or do you think?
Oh my god! If they list BAT and not Stellar, that's fucking stupid.
Stellar has inherent utility, honestly. Ripple could be considered a security.
Yeah,
no doubt. It still is considered a security in my eyes.
But did you guys? I mean, you know, the interesting thing about BAT is it's the first crypto to be tested with the USDC coin of Coinbase. You know, not direct fiat.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It's not direct
that.
fiat.
They're not going to
It's
have a
USD
USD pair. It's just going to be their altcoin pair, or their stable coin rather.
What, I'm sorry. What?
It's just going to be their stable coin. There's no fiat pair for it. Is that, I didn't know that.
I don't see a direct fiat pair. I'm on Coinbase right now.
Is it? Oh yeah. I guess I could. Always
Does USDC stand for USD Coinbase or USD Circle? Because I know they did something with Circle, right?
I thought Circle was associated with Poloniex.
I
So-
thought so too, actually.
Yeah. So that whole Goldman Sachs thing, like Goldman Sachs invested like 3 years ago, and everyone just keeps saying Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs. No, it's just such a small ticket investment, but I don't think Goldman Sachs really has an active role in Poloniex.
No. All right.
Poloniex is a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, Goldman Sachs pretty much owns Circle, and Circle is the one that pretty much acquired Poloniex.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
Is everyone think Stellar? Is that the consensus?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard that's
A few months back, Coinbase mentioned that there were 5 potential coins they could be listing on there. I think it was like
Stellar's one of them.
0x,
Yeah, it was
basic
0x
attention
Cardano.
token. Yeah.
0x Cardano, BAT, Stellar, and
Was it
Zcash.
Classic also?
Yeah, Ethereum
Classic
Classic.
was on
Yeah.
Zcash.
Oh yeah, Zcash. Yep.
Oh, I have on good authority that no ZK Starks coin will ever be listed on any major exchange, crypto to fiat exchange.
Well, it's on Gemini Exchange. That
Yeah,
may not be a major one, but
It's on Gemini.
You can only do the unshielded transactions, so it's not really a privacy coin on the exchange.
Right,
right.
man. That's just
But yeah, Stellar sounds like a good one.
yeah.
I think Cardano's having still having wallet issues. Like good project, but still having wallet issues. So I don't think they're going to be on the exchange anytime soon.
Bro, I've been in contact with the Cardano devs. They can't answer simple questions. Honestly, it's really bad. It's really bad. We've been trying for SDK applications, API interfaces. I'm not gonna go into the weeds here, but they just couldn't answer any. Like the support staff, they couldn't answer any of the. I would hope they'd be happy. Like, hey, yeah, a wallet wants to support us, but we're not getting any sort of positive feedback from them. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Yeah. Sad. But
I say Stellar. Why not Stellar? And that would be like the ultimate kick in the teeth to Ripple.
Oh yeah, it would. After all the speculation that it was going to get added,
That would be like a day to party. I would
would make my
definitely throw a
day.
party on that day.
yeah, that would make my day.
I like Stellar. Stellar is enterprise ready. They're one of the few cryptocurrencies that can, sustain a business on their platforms. Hopefully Cardano and EOS comes to light, and of course Hashgraph whenever they launch their mainnet, that's going to be big. It's going to be huge. When they actually do launch their mainnet, they've already partnered with the top exchanges. It's going to be big, right?
Yeah, Hedera Hashgraph also I think has this woman. Her name is Blythe Masters. She used to be like an exec from JP Morgan. I mean, brilliant woman, and whatever that woman gets behind, like that shit's going to the top. That's just my opinion,
Yeah.
They already have 85 projects building on them. 85 projects.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
You
Yeah.
see the mastermind of a few derivative products.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, she is.
All right. Cool. My hourglass is.
I was gonna say that's we're right at the hour mark now, gents. So obviously don't want to tie you up too long. That was the majority of the topics. Really, the only other thing I had in there was, do we think STOs are the future? And I'm inclined to say yes.
Well, speaking of Stellar, if you've heard of this company called Swarm Fund, I think they're an ERC20 token right now. But what they do is they launch Stellar-based tokenized assets. For example, what they did is they took Robinhood shares of the company and they tokenized it and they sold it on the Swarm Fund or on the Swarm platform. And that's all Stellar-based.
Wow.
And if you want a secure, good Stellar wallet, go ahead and download Monarch. There's my
About time somebody mentioned that.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah, we didn't hear about that all day, huh?
Yeah, I love Monarch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
we might be a
Okay.
little bit biased around here, but it is a pretty good wallet.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. Well, yeah. Awesome. Crypto Love, thanks for coming on, man. This has been fun.
Dude, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man.
Appreciate it,
You'd be welcome back on anytime. We do these shows every Monday, so obviously if you ever want to jump back on and come get involved in the Crypto Brady Bunch conversation like this.
So how can people find you?
Tell them about your stuff, man.
Yeah, search Crypto Love on YouTube. That's basically it. I have other social medias, but they don't get updated as much. Crypto Love on YouTube. Boom.
Boom.
Nice.
Okay. And then you can see his beautiful face.
Every day.
Apparently multiple times a day.
Sometimes,
Right?
yeah.
That's pretty
Wow.
impressive. Yeah, if you
So you
guys think I'm
literally see his
entertaining.
beard grow
this
and
guy-
shrink as he shaves and unshaves.
It does.
gonna
It
say,
does.
did you see how
When I first shaved it, I didn't even recognize myself.
Dude, your beard was awesome. I don't know why you shaved it though.
It wasn't. It was taken without permission. I went to go get it trimmed, and a barber. This style down here is like it's a very Latino culture. Not saying anything about that, but the style is big beard and like no mustache. So
Oh, no.
and that happened the last time I went to go get it trimmed, and I was like devastated. So I told this guy, I was like, "Don't touch my mustache." And 5 minutes in, he just goes, "Mm," and I just shaved it off because I couldn't stand looking at myself like that.
Oh man. Oh
Mhm.
man, what a devastating story.
Yeah,
Shave November is real though.
it was rough.
Oh, Heather Starbuck also thinks you look like Cowboy Cerrone. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I used to get that all the time. People were like, "Oh, Cowboys in crypto now."
Yeah, like, whoa, man. You were a contender.
Wait,
He's like,
Street
nah, I'm not a
Fighter?
trader.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, Cowboy Cerrone.
You
He's
look
badass.
like him, yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that straight when I first saw you a long
Yeah.
time ago. Yeah.
I tried to get him on my channel once. He never responded.
Dude, that would be awesome. Like, which one's which?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see a fist fight between you two.
Oh, he would definitely win.
Yeah.
He would definitely win. I did do jujitsu for quite a while, but he would definitely win.
I mean, he kind of does it for a living. Let's all stick
Yeah,
to trading.
right?
It hurts way
Yeah.
less.
Mhm.
my only active combat experience is chess. You know, that's it.
I challenge you to a duel.
That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyways,
We're digressing here.
yeah, we're digressing here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Right on. Thanks for coming on,
Thank
Randall.
you.
And guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. Shout out to everybody watching. Thanks so much. Feel free if you guys enjoy the content, smash the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the little bell so you get the notifications on when we go on. And we're going to start streaming probably more than once a day on our channel as well. So you should look for all of these faces. Maybe we'll get Randall on a little bit more too, but definitely all these faces here in the near future for some more live streams. So stay tuned to Cryptosomniac.
And join our free Discord channel.
Yes, definitely. If you have not done so yet, down below, just in the comments, the link is there. Join the free Discord server. You can go in for free right now and check it out. See if it's a good fit. We'd love to have you. Hang out with us.
Cheers.
Yeah,
All right,
cool.
guys.
Thanks
Take
for
it
coming
easy.
on, Crypto Love.
Right
My
on.
pleasure.
See you later.
Peace.
And end screen.